Bam! The fuck?
Alright, let me elaborate on my reaction to that horrible looking pipe that was actually in use. I'll start off by saying that I'm starting to hate these shutdowns, bro. They're getting worse and worse. In this one, the homeowner wanted to renovate one of the bathrooms in this pre-war New York City building, and he called us to do the work. Of course, as you should know by now, the first step to any renovation is a water shutdown. This was our first day on the job, and as soon as I get there, I start investigating a bit, just like I do with every job. I noticed that the risers are in the closet right next to the bathroom and the old pipes run in the floor. The asbestos insulation is just hanging around in the pipes and it seems destroyed, almost like it has been chewed up. I asked the homeowner what happened to it and he said that their dog might have done it. What the fuck? I'm like, sir, you know that this shit is dangerous, right? He started laughing and said that he knows and that he's going to have it removed soon. Mind blowing, yo. Now I'm thinking that maybe they're not feeding the dog well, so he might be hungry. I asked him where the dog was, and he says that the wife took him out for a walk. So I'm like, let's try to keep him out until we finish this because he's probably tired of eating asbestos and might want to try a little human meat when he sees us. Anyways, I educated him a bit more on the asbestos insulation before starting because he obviously didn't know enough about it. We still had to do the shutdown though because it was scheduled for the day. So we wet it with soapy water, put our masks on, and started cutting the old pipes out. When getting to the riser teeth, the hot water was brass and came off easily. The cold water riser though was galvanized and was completely corroded and clogged with buildup. I cut the 1-inch galvanized elbow in half thinking that the nipple would come off with the elbow in place because that helps it keep in the shape and doesn't allow it to bend. That didn't work because the corrosion on the nipple has made it impossible for it to loosen. After the half elbow came off, I put a fitting inside the nipple and tried loosening it that way to prevent it from crumbling like a freshly baked cookie. That also didn't work as expected, so the nipple's thread broke inside the T and now I had to perform a fucking surgery to remove it. With the help of a sawzall, I made 2 cuts and chiseled the piece out. A thin sawzall blade is perfect for these kind of jobs, but it does need a steady hand and a little experience to do it properly without damaging the threads of the riser tee. The best way to do this would actually be to leave a little meat on the nipple, maybe like ½ inch from the tee. That helps with directing the chisel in the right place and to pull out the piece after it has been separated. This wasn't the case here because I wanted the easiest way out, but ended up getting the impossible. Also, the chisel that I'm using here is not the best choice. If you're ever in this kind of situations, I suggest you use a small and thin flathead chisel or screwdriver. I had lost mine in this job because my helper batteries are usually drained out by 2 p.m. and somehow his vision gets compromised. So by 4 o'clock, the tool bag ends up being a bit lighter than the day before. So every morning I have a guaranteed phone call from contractors that find these tools in their job sites. Anyways, 2 cuts weren't enough because the nipple was basically welded into the T from the corrosion. So I made another cut and kept chiseling pieces out. After the 3rd cut, the piece finally came off. At that moment, I really needed a minute to embrace the victory and relax a bit, but the building needed that water back on. So we installed the bushing and reduced it from 1 inch to 3/4. Then we installed both ball valves and called the super to turn the water back on. You should know that brass has dielectric properties, so a dielectric nipple was not necessary. Either way, this whole riser is galvanized and will eventually start leaking all over, but at least this bathroom will be alright. By the way, I thought about heating up the T and the nipple when trying to loosen it, but the heat softens everything, so I was afraid that the T could actually get damaged and this small job would have become a whole other project, probably on my expense, so I didn't risk it. After the water was turned on, we tested for leaks and bounced ASAP because the wife and the dog were on their way back and probably hungry from that walk.